Hello, it is show week, and I thought now would be an ideal opportunity to talk about motorhomes and campervans. I am always hearing the statement, you can buy a motorhome for that. And yeah, that's absolutely right. But for this van, you could actually buy a house. In fact, you could buy a few. But a house isn't a motorhome, and a motorhome isn't a campervan. I'm going to explain. There are some pretty big differences between them. And yes, I know you can't drive a house, so we won't actually talk about that today. Now, one of these types of vehicles has a lot more positives than the other one. So it's going to be an easy choice, right? Well, no, it isn't exactly that simple. Now, you may be heading to the NEC show yourself, the Motorhome and Caravan Show, to have a look at these vehicles and potentially buy one over the other one. So let's talk about them to see which is going to be best for you. Or could there actually potentially be another addition which you could consider? Now, first of all, let's remove price from the equation, because these two vehicles are actually very similar priced and they're both registered as motor caravans. So let's forget about that and just move on to the other features. Now, externally, there are several differences. The motorhome is obviously much bigger, but that isn't the only difference, which I will come on to as far as the external features a little bit later on. Now, the size of the motorhome not only has its pros, but also has its cons as well. So what are they? Let's have a closer look. Now, due to its much bigger size, it does provide a lot more comfort, a lot more storage, and you can get some bigger appliances within inside the vehicle. The spec which you can have fitted to the vehicle is much better than you can get in a camper van because of the size. Let's take a look around it and inside it. Now, something you certainly don't get on a camper van is a garage. Look at this. It is a great big cavernous garage which can store all your goods. You can see we've got in here, we've got the chairs, we've got parts for the awning, we've got 2 gas bottles, we've got the hoses, etc. And it actually goes all the way across to the other side, so you can actually access it by both sides. And it's a great big width. And as you can see, you've also got a bike carrier. Perfect. Coming a little further back, we've got our, yeah, unfortunately, someone's got to do it. It is a dirty job, but it's obviously where the toilet cassette is. So it's got an onboard toilet. And then you've got your water filler here. And as you can see, it's a great big tall vehicle. Let's go around the other side and have a check out what's inside. Now, access to this motorhome is different to a camper van. It's got a normal opening door. And to add to that, look at this. It's even got a step to help you get in. Now, inside, and first of all, to the driver aspect, I'm not really going to talk about this much. It's just a van. Basically, you're just driving a big van. But as you can see, the seats got twin captain seats, which you get in a lot of camper vans as well. So not an awful lot of difference there. But as we go backwards, look at this. It is a great big cavernous area, which you certainly do not get in a camper van. You've got a seating area here with 2 seats for forward-facing travel. You've got a nice dinette table in the middle, so you can eat your lunch inside. No messing around having to get one out. It is already there. Got a TV, which you're going to get inside a normal van anyway. And then you've got some storage cupboards up here. And another beauty about this is it's a motorhome. The beds are already built. You don't have to mess around actually making the beds. In this particular one, this is a 75T, so it's actually got the single beds in the rear. Whereas if you had the 75Q, you'd have the double island bed in the rear. And again, lots more storage, something you just don't get. You want to see what's around there? Well, I'll look at that in a sec. But there is another bed, and that's this one. And this, it's an electric bed, and it drops down. Again, you're not making it, you're just pressing a button and bringing it down. Absolutely brilliant. So as well as that, you've obviously got your kitchen area, you've got an oven and a grill, you've got burner hobs, as you get on a camper van, and you've got a full-size sink as well. And speaking of full size, look at this. This isn't the size of fridge freezer which you get in your camper van. This is a proper fridge, because you've got the room. The size enables the people to put these bigger items in there. And again, it's light and area, which is not something you normally get on a camper van. Camper vans are usually your greys and your dark charcoals and things like that, but here it's all light, nice and airy. But look at this. You've got a toilet cubicle, bathroom, some might say. Obviously, you've got your privacy. You can pull the door round and have some privacy. You've got storage even in the bathroom. You've got the toilet. You've got a sink. You've got a mirror. But look at this. This is genius. And just like that, we have a shower cubicle. Absolute genius. You don't find that on many camper vans. Got skylights, lots of skylights, lots of windows, curtain to shut out the front and the rear. This is 5 berth, I believe, because the table here also converts into another bed. So there is loads of room for everybody and all their luggage in this. So a motorhome, surely it is the best. You've got everything in here. It's a proper home from home. Well, let's go and have a look in the camper van and see what we've got in there. So this particular van is a VW Transporter T6.1, and it's a camper van. It isn't anywhere near as big as that motorhome. There's no cavernous garage at the rear, but there is access. You can lift that tailgate up and store items in the back. And as this one's got the rib bed, you've got that greater storage area rather than the rock and roll, which is generally really crammed towards that back barn doors or that back tailgate, not giving you a lot of safe storage options. With it being a tailgate, it's also simple enough to put that bike rack on the back to be able to carry those 4 bikes. So as we step inside, you see that there's no bed made up. You've got to make up your own bed, either with that being the rib bed or rock and roll if that's what you've chosen, or the pop top as well. The beds aren't made, they're not readily made like they are in the motorhome. The kitchen, yes, you've got a sink, which is under here, and the 2-burner hob, absolutely fine, but you don't have an oven. Fridge, yeah, you've got a 50-litre fridge, but it's small in comparison to the motorhome. You've not got a toilet. Well, you do. It's in a box here, but you can't sit on the seat and do it through the seat. You've got to take it out and either do it here or do it outside in maybe an awning or a toilet tent. Driving wise is personal preference, but it is a smaller vehicle and it's the Volkswagen Transporter, so it is a good base vehicle to be doing it from. Both vehicles have got heating systems. Both vehicles are fitted with the safety devices, the smoke alarms and the carbon monoxide alarms. There is a lot less storage inside the camper van because obviously the actual area inside the vehicle is a lot less. Yeah, you can pop the pop top up and you can look out. Scenic canvas, brilliant to get that open and have a look out. Something which you don't get on the motorhome. But with all that size and space, the motorhome is the best buy, isn't it? Well, no, because it's not just about that. It isn't that simple. Let's have a look at some of the pros and the cons. We've established that the size of the motorhome certainly gives it a lot of benefits. You've got that home creature comforts, you've got the much bigger appliances, you've got far greater storage, the ease of not having to make a bed every time you want to go to sleep. It's just there, already made. But some of these actually do lead to some cons as well. Firstly, because of the size of this vehicle, do you have enough storage to store the vehicle at home? It is a big old vehicle. It's not only long, it's wide, and also it's really tall. Do you have somewhere where you can actually keep it safely? Or do you have to do it blocking a neighbour's view or something like that? You don't want to be annoying your neighbours. You need to make sure that you've got somewhere where you can store it. And with that bigger height, that does pose a bit of a problem in car parks. It's a tall vehicle. There's a lot of restricted car parks around at the moment, and there's more cropping up every single week. You certainly need to make sure when you check that you're actually going somewhere that you're not going to be going to a height restricted area. You certainly couldn't take it to your local shopping centre with a 2-metre height barrier. It isn't going to get through. And carrying on with parking, if you can actually get into a car park and you're going to be taking up more than one space, which inevitably you will do with a vehicle the size of that, do you have to pay for 2 car parking spaces? I know that some places where you do park, the number of spaces which you take up, you've actually got to pay for each space that you're just partially occupying. So you need to think about that. And also driving the vehicle. Driving licenses have restrictions. Is the weight of the vehicle which you're buying, that size motorhome, Are you capable of driving it on your current driving license, or have you got to pass an additional test to be able to do so? And just driving the motorhome as well. It is a big old vehicle. Getting it down these tight, twisty lanes, which we've certainly got down here in Devon and Cornwall, isn't an easy feat. Passing places may well not be big enough for the size of vehicle which you've got. Just takes a little bit more thinking about, just a bit more considering when you're going to be taking it somewhere, a bit more planning ahead. And are you comfortable driving a vehicle of this size? Actually, if you're not, they do maneuverability course here at the NEC show. Although I'm not actually here, this is one I prepared earlier, as Blue Peter used to say. But at the show, you can actually do maneuverability and also towing a vehicle as well. So do check that out at the show. Worth doing if you've not got that confidence. These aspects could be deemed negatives for a motorhome, but are they really? I'm going to come on to it. And in contrast to that, the campervan is a much smaller vehicle, which obviously does bring those negatives. You can't store those big goods away from everywhere. You've not got the pre-prepared beds. You've not got the places to be putting all your items and things because it's a smaller vehicle. But that also is a positive. The short wheelbase transporter, which this is based on, isn't that much bigger than a normal car. Well, maybe a large car, maybe an estate, which I did talk about in my daily driver video, and there's a clue. The big positive for the campervan is its versatility. It's a Swiss Army knife. You can eat in it, you can sleep in it, and you can also drive it as a daily vehicle. It is a very, very versatile vehicle. The ability to take it into car parks under those height restricted barriers, although do be careful because some of the pop-ups are higher than others, and if you've got bigger wheels and different suspensions, and just make sure that you check your height of the car park which you're going into. I know mine's absolutely fine going in under 2 meters, but yours may not, so make sure you do check. And in the car parks itself, it's only going to take up one space, unless you've got the long wheelbase, which might be slightly longer, but it is much smaller than the motorhome. You've got no concerns taking it to work, which I certainly couldn't do in a motorhome. I actually couldn't. I can take it shopping. I can go and get my weekly shop. I can take it to the local shopping mall and go and buy some new clothes if I wanted to, because it gets under that height barrier. It can still park in a normal car parking space, but yet I can eat in it, I can sleep in it, and I can go to the toilet in not as much privacy in it. I can drive down country lanes as though it was a normal car, albeit a little bit bigger, but I've never had any problems. The passing laybys are still big enough to get my van down there. It's not got the creature comforts as the motorhome. It's not as big, but this storage for the campervan can be expanded. Teardrop trailers are becoming really, really popular, or even the Swift base camps, the small caravans. A lot of people are using them now. You can put a roof box on the top, beware of car parks. You can also put a tow bar on the back and put one of the 2-lay storage boxes on it, so you can actually make it bigger but still use it as a daily driver. Now, the other point which I've been referencing, and that is down to the aesthetics. Now, most motorhomes which you'll see are white, although you do get some grey ones, but with a transporter you've got lots of different colours. Yeah, this one is grey, bad example, but you can get reds, you can get purples, you can get blues, you can get greens, you can get all sorts of different colours. And then obviously you've got your body kits and your bigger wheels and your lowered suspension. I mean, how many motorhomes do you see with great big alloy wheels and body kits and slammed to the ground? You don't. They're different vehicles. They are completely different vehicles. If you've got the luxury of being able to spend some money on a nice big motorhome because you're only going to be using it for leisure, you're only going to be using it for your weekend trips away or your holidays, then fantastic. Spend that £65,000 on a brand new motorhome. But if you've not got the luxury of that and you need to use your vehicle for a wider use purpose, picking the kids up from the clubs, going to work, going shopping, etc., then maybe a campervan is going to be the best one for you. Everybody's different. So when somebody says to you, you can buy a motorhome for that, well, yes, you can. But actually, is that the right vehicle for you? So when you're wandering around the show this week, having a look at the great selection of vehicles which are on show, then do think about that. And do subscribe if you want to see some more of my videos from the show. And click here if you want to see the who, what, where, when of the show. Take care, and I hope to see you soon.